All right. Okay, here we have Gimel Aleph. Let me vote. Niddah. Niddah. If a woman expels a formless mass, if there is blood with it, she is tamei. But if not, she is tahor. Rabbi Yehuda says in either case, she is tamei. If a woman expels a red-colored object resembling a rind, a hair, dirt, or midges, let her put it in water, and if it dissolves, she is tamei, and if not, she is tahor. If a woman aborts something resembling fish, locusts, abominable creatures, or crawling creatures, if there is blood with them, she is tamei. If not, she is tahor. If a woman aborts something resembling a type of domesticated animal, wild animal, or fowl, or whether a non-kosher or kosher species, if he's a male, he observes the period of tumah and tahara for a male. If it's female, she observes the period of tumah and tahara for a female. And if the gender is not known, she observes the period of tumah and tahara for a male and for a female. These are the words of Reb Meir. But the comments say anything that does not have something of a human form is not deemed a child. Okay.
Carry on.
If a woman aborts an embryo full of water, full of blood, or full of multicolored matter, she does not need to be concerned that it is a child. But if the embryo was developed, they must observe the periods of tumah and tahara of a male and female.
Okay. Dalet, hamapeles sandal or shilia. So sandal sounds like a shoe, and it's basically a piece of flesh that's just got no distinct features. So it just looks like the flat piece of a sandal. Okay. Or shilia, which is the amniotic sac? Shilia was the afterbirth, the placenta.
Sounds right.
I was looking at the translation of the Kahati yesterday, and it did not make sense because it said that it was talking about the sac. He's talking about the sac that the baby is inside,
right?
Which that is the amniotic sac. But the Art Scroll translates it, I think, as afterbirth, which is the placenta.
Yeah, it says or an afterbirth, which is
the
placenta,
right? Right. So there's no. I think it makes more sense to talk about it as the placenta. Because it says there's you can't have a placenta without a baby. That's what we're saying over here, is that teshev lezachar v'lanakeva. So now she has to observe the tumah according to the chumrah of the girl and according to the chumrah of the boy. Okay, shilia b'bayis. Now, but what about the house? Because presumably there was something dead inside the house. So does it make everything tamei? It says the Mishna habayis tamei. So if all that she gives birth to is an afterbirth, that is going to make the bayis tamei, because there must have been at least a small piece of flesh of the baby, and that's going to make the house tamei. Lo she'ela shilia velad. It's not as if the afterbirth is the baby. Ela she'ein shilia below velad. You couldn't have a placenta without having a baby. Baby must have died, and before your house is tamei. Rabbi Shimon Omer nimok havelad ad shelo yatsa. He disagrees. He says that the baby must have disintegrated, and you don't have enough tumah, you don't have enough flesh to cause tumah sabayis. The halacha does not follow Rabbi Shimon.
Would that be a barley corn? That would be small.
So barley corn is the size of bone, and the kazayas is of flesh.
That's okay.
Okay. Hamapeles tumtum androgynous. If somebody miscarries and the baby is a tumtum or an androgynous, in other words, of indistinct sex, teshev lezachar v'lenekeva. She has to keep the tumah, the chumras of both sides, 14 days tumah as if it's a girl, and then only 26 days of tahara as if it's a boy. Tumtum v'zachar, androgynous v'zachar. What happens if she gives birth to twins, and one of them is a boy and the other one is an indistinct sex? Again, teshev lezachar v'lenkeva. She has to keep the chumras of both. So my immediate thought is like, why is the Mishnah not dealing with a much more common case of boy and girl twins? because we need to answer a fundamental question. When you have these halachas that come into conflict, specifically, it's going to come into conflict during the second week. In the first week, whether it's a boy or a girl, she's tameh. But according to, for the second week, from days 8 to 14, if it's a girl, she should be tameh, and if it's a boy, she should be tahor. So the question is, which overrides which? Because you've got a direct conflict. It says explicitly that if she gives birth to a boy, then she's going to be tahor for 33 days. And it says with a girl that she's tameh for the first 14 days. So what do you do with those 7 days in the middle? And really, the Mishnah is answering our question kind of indirectly and saying that the tumah is stronger than the tahara. So the tumah of the girl is stronger than the tahara of the boy.
Right. Okay.
And because you've got a doubt over here as to even in the case of a doubt where it might actually not be a girl, even the doubtful tumah of the androgynous, we're going l'chumrah and treating it as if it's a girl, and therefore she remains tameh for 14 days. What happens if she gives birth tumtum unakeva? Okay, if she's or androgynous unakeva, so it's a definite girl and a hermaphrodite. Teishev linkeva bilvad. Then she only treats. Then her tumah is only according to a girl, right? We follow the rules only for the girl, because the girl is definitely 14 days of tumah and definitely 66 days of tahara, and there's nothing about a boy that makes you stop having your mate tahara at 40 days. It's the girl that actually gives her the tahara for an extra 40 days, and there's nothing contradicting that. So she keeps the second 40 day. She goes all the way up to 80 days in tahara. Yatsa mechutach or mesoras. What happens if the baby comes out dismembered? Mishayatsa rubo harehu ki yalod. As soon as the majority of its parts have come out, then it's considered as if it's born. Okay, what's the nafkamina? The tame beleda, in order to make her tame from having given birth. But as long as she hasn't given birth to the majority of the baby, she is still betahara. Yatzat kedarko, if it came out in the normal way, ad yatsa rov rosho. So the majority of the head, in other words, the crowning, that's right. That's the point at which she is considered the baby is considered to be born, and that also kicks in the halachas if the baby is alive. Of course, now it's no longer considered a rodef, and if there's a choice between their lives, before it's born, you kill the baby and leave them and save the mother. After the majority of its head is out, it's born, and you can't choose between them. You can't kill one at the expense of the other. So you can't save one at the expense of the other. And what is the definition there? Padachto is forehead. So once its forehead is out, the Gemara explains that even with a baby that comes out dismembered, the head is still considered like the majority of the limbs. Okay, Mishna Vav, Hamapeles, the Yadua Mahu. So a woman miscarried, and we don't know what it is. If it was a boy or a girl, it was dismembered. She has to keep the chumras of both boys and girls. Ein Yadua im Valad Haya im Lav. If we don't know if it was a baby or at all. Okay, she has some sort of event that causes some stuff to come out of her, which may have been blighted ovum, may have been like partial pregnancy. Remember, they didn't have scans in those days to tell you if you're actually pregnant or not. You just started showing. So she miscarried something, and we're not even sure if this was a baby. Teshev lezacha v'lenekeva u'lenida. An extra chumrah over here. We have to suspect that maybe it was a baby, maybe it was a baby boy, maybe it was a baby girl, and we also have to suspect that she's a niddah, which means not only does she have the tumah of Leda, but she also has the tumah of niddah, which is
Right.
So all of the additional chumras of her spittle and her causing to us midras. Let's see if there's anything else over here. Right, which means that she has no Yimei Tohar. So yeah, so if once we remove the possibility that that might not even have been a baby, then even for a boy, you wouldn't have those 26 days of Tahara, because now she's possibly a Niddah. And Niddah doesn't have any hitter of 26 days of Tahara. So
these were very complicated halachas.
yeah, it's just because we're in the situation of Safek, and as soon as we enter Safek, then things start getting complicated. Yeah. Okay, let's go back.
Okay, Mikrot. A mattress of this is Yud base. A mattress or cushion of leather require that the water should not enter into them, but a rounded pillow, a ball, a stuffed form, an amulet, or the filler do not require that the water should enter into them. This is a general rule. Anything whose contents are not usually put in and taken out may be immersed open. The following knots do not require that the water should enter into them: knots of a poor man's clothes, of fringes, of a sandal thong, of a tefillah of the head, if it is tight, of a tefillah of the arm, if it does not move up and down, or of a water skin lug, lug, or a pouch lug. The following knots do require the water should enter them: the knot of the shoulder of an undershirt, the knot of an edge of a sheet, the one who has spread it out, the knot of a tefillah of the head if it is not tight, or the tefillah of the arm if it moves up and down, or of sandal straps. Clothes that are immersed when washed need only to be immersed until they produce bubbles. But if they are immersed, when dry, they must stay immersed until they produce bubbles and cease bubbling.
Okay.
All handles of
That's it. That's it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, Tauros. That's Aleph.
Okay. If one lives together with an Amaretz in a courtyard and he forgot utensils in the courtyard, even sealed earthenware barrels or a sealed earthenware oven, these are tamei. Rabbi Yehuda rules the oven tahor when it is sealed. Rabbi Yossi says even the oven is tamei until he makes a partition for it that is 10 tefachim high. If one deposits utensils with an amaretz, they become tamei with corpse tuma, and they become tamei through midras. If he knows that he eats truma, they are tahor from corpse tuma. But if they are tamei through midras, Yossi says he gave him a chest full of clothes. When the lid presses down on the clothes, they become tamei. Midras, if the lid does not press down on the clothes, they become tamei with a light tuma, or even if the key is in the owner's hand. If one loses an object during the day and finds it the same day, he is tahor. During the day, he found it during the night, and he it's left whether that's that word yet. During the night, and they found it during the day, and he found it the following day, it's tamei. This is the rule. Whenever the entire night or part of the past is over, it is tamei. If one spreads out clothes in a public domain, they are tahor. In a private domain, they are tamei. But if he was watching them, they are tahor. If they fell and he went to bring them, they are tamei. And if the bucket fell into the well of an aretz and he went to bring something which would raise it, it is tamei, since it was left in the domain of the aretz for a short time. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Going on to Ryan. Okay, base. We did not examine the Nagayim in the early morning, nor the late afternoon, nor inside the house, nor on a cloudy day, because what is dull appears bright, nor do we examine the Nagayim in the middle of the day, because what is bright appears dull. When do we examine? During the third, fourth, fifth, seventh, eighth, and ninth hours. And these are the words of the mayor. Rabbi Yeshua says during the fourth, fifth, eighth, and ninth hours. A Kohen who is blind in one eye and whose vision is weak may not examine Nagayim, because the Torah states, as far as the eyes of the Kohen can see. We do not make new windows in a dark house in order to examine its nega. How is the nega examined? A man examined the position of someone hoeing, and of someone picking up olives. A woman examined the position of someone shaping dough, and of someone nursing a child, and of someone who is weaving on a standing loom who exposes her underarm for her right arm. The Yehuda says also, she assumes the position of someone who is spinning linen for her left arm, just as he examined for his nega, so he viewed for his shaving. Okay.
Okay.
Phoros. Olive Zion. If he does not wish to redeem it, he must decapitate it with a large knife from behind and bury it. The precept of redemption take precedence over the precept of decapitation, as it states, and if you did not redeem it, you shall decapitate it. The precept of Yud takes precedence over the precept of redemption, as it states, he who does not designate her, he shall cause her to be redeemed. The precept of Yibum also takes precedence over the precept of Chalitza in the early days when they would intend to perform Yibum for the sake of fulfilling the precept, but now they do not intend to perform the Yibum for the sake of fulfilling the precept. They said, the precept of Chalitza takes precedence over the precept of Yibum. The precept of redemption is on the owner. He takes precedence over any other person, as it is said, if it is not redeemed, it shall be sold for the valid valuation. One who buys the fetus of a cow belonging to a non-Jew or sells one to him, even though it is not permissible, or enters into a partnership with him, or receives a cow from him to hold, or gives one to him to hold, is exempt from Makor laws that it states in Israel, but not in others. Kohanim and Levim are liable. They were not exempted from the Makor law of kosher animals, and they were exempted only from the redemption of the son and from the law of the firstborn donkey. Okay.
One more.
All consecrated animals with permanent blemish preceded their consecration, and which were redeemed are subject to the laws of Bechor and the gifts of the Kohen. And they revert to mundane status, even to the extent that they may be shown and put to work. Their offspring and their milk are permissible as their redemption, and one who slaughters them is outside the temple courtyard is not liable. It does not affect Tamora, and if they die prior to their redemption, they may be redeemed except for the Bechor and the Misa offering.
Okay. Sota.
Base. Dead base. If it was found buried in a seep or hanging from a tree or floating above the water, they would not decapitate a calf, as it is said, in the land, implying that it was not buried in a heap, fallen, was not hanging from a tree, in a field, but not floating upon the water. If it was found near the border or near a city of which the majority are not Jews, or near a city of which there is no court of law, they would not decapitate a calf. They do not measure except from the city from which there is a court of law. If it was found expedition from two cities, two bring two calves, and these are the words of Eliezer. Yerushalayim is exempt from this right of this decapitated cow. If his head was found in one place, his body in another, we bring the head to the body. These are the words of Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Kiva says the body is brought to the head. From where would they measure? Rabbi Eliezer says from his navel. Rabbi Kiva says from the yod. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov says from the place that he became a corpse, his neck. Okay. And last, we have Shabbos. Okay, hey Gimel. And with what may we not go out? A cow may not go out with a patch on its tail, nor its forelegs and hind legs chained together, nor with its foreleg went back to his shoulder, and so it is with all other animals. One may not tie camels to another and lead them, but he may gather ropes into his hand and lead them, provided he does not wind the ropes around the other, one around the other. The donkey may not go out with saddle cloth when it is not tied to it, nor with a belt, even if it is plugged, nor with a ladder on the neck, nor with a strap on its leg. And chickens may not go out with cords, nor with straps on their legs. Rams may not go out with a wagonette under the fat tail. Ewes may not go out with henna chips in their nose, and a calf may not go out with a little yoke, not a cow with a hedgehog skin, nor with a strap between her horns. Eliezer ben Zariah says, cows go out with a strap between her horns, but without the consent of the components. With what may women go out, with what may women not go out, and women may not go out neither with wooden threads, nor with linen threads, nor with straps that are on her head, nor with immerse herself in a mikvah with them, unless she loosens them first. Nor may she go out with a front lip, nor with head bangles, nor with when they are not sewn, nor with a forehead, nor in pattern in the public domain, nor with a golden, nor with a golden city, nor with a necklace, nor with nose rings, nor with rings that bear no signet, nor with a needle without an eye. And if she went out, she is not liable for a sin offering. And
that's it.
I have a quick question for you, not about halakha, something else completely different.